Ever wonder what it really takes to hold everything together when life pulls you in opposite directions? Picture the scent of fresh coffee mingling with the smog of city streets, the daily chaos outside, but inside? Inside, there's a storm brewing. Natalie Warren stands at her hotel window gazing out over the skyline. The city hums below, but her mind is miles away. Dreams and doubts collide as her phone buzzes with news that could shatter everything she's built. Her family, her ambitions, her sense of self, all hanging by a thread. Her shoulders tighten. She recalls her childhood in Philadelphia. Close-knit, simple, built on brotherly bonds. But everything changed when her parents split. Cold nights, missed dinners, a house full of silence where love once thrived. Now, amid financial struggles, she's fought her way up. She's poured her heart into her hotels, her catering, building a future for herself and her family. And yet, even as she chases success, her family's shadows linger. The past echoes through her mind, her brother's voice, her mother's tears. How do you fight for your dreams when family ties threaten to unravel? Can she keep moving forward without losing herself in the process? The city continues its relentless pulse, but inside her, everything is on the line. The question hits hard. Where does her true strength come from? The soft hum of rain outside mixed with the faint leaf rustle from the open window. Natalie sat on her bed, clutching that old, worn letter her fingers had found hidden inside a dusty family album. The smell of aged paper filled her senses, faded ink lingering like a ghost from the past. Her eyes traced the words, but her mind wasn't really reading. It was reeling. And then, just like that, the world shifted. Her breath hitched. The secret unspooled. James wasn't just her brother. No, he had been her silent guardian all along, sacrificing his own dreams behind the scenes so she could chase hers. How had she missed it? The quiet support, the sacrifices, hidden in plain sight, like whispers beneath her daily grind. Was this why she fought so hard? To honor that invisible loyalty she never knew she owed? The room seemed to close in. Her pulse quickened. How much of her life had been shaped by this unseen bond? And now, everything that once seemed simple, their brotherly love, her ambitions, felt charged with new weight. Could she really succeed without acknowledging the sacrifices made for her? Or was there still more for her to uncover? As the rain tapped softly against the glass, she wondered, how do you keep pushing forward, knowing some battles are fought in silence? The night settles over the quiet street. Streetlights flicker weakly, casting shifting shadows that dance unpredictably across the window. Natalie stands outside, watching her family from a distance, feeling the weight of unspoken worries. The scent of rain lingers, fresh, earthy, promising change. Her reflection appears in the glass, then pauses. But wait, that's not her. It's her younger sister, staring back, eyes filled with quiet understanding. Time seems to freeze. Natalie feels her past self looking back at her, silent and knowing. Her ambitions, her emotional scars, they blur into one foggy moment of realization. The real battle isn't just balancing success and family. It's confronting her own hidden fears about legacy, about who she's beneath the weight of her commitments. As shadows swirl, she understands. The fight for herself has only just begun. The scent of rain hitting the pavement filters through the window, mingling with the distant hum of city life. It's quiet now, but that night was anything but. I remember a dinner like any other, Melissa trailing behind him, check watch ticking loudly in her head, sighs heavy with impatience when stories of childhood sneaked into our talk. The air was thick with unspoken judgments. Eleanor, Melissa's mother, stared pointedly across the table, asking about my hotel biz, my small but growing empire. Her eyes flicked with subtle disappointment when I explained my scale, her tone tight but polite. "Well, anyone can succeed in America, I guess," she said, a veneer of civility masking her judgment. Melissa nodded, her smile fragile, almost sneering. She made no effort to hide her disdain for my work. She shuddered delicately when I mentioned the long hours, the dirtied linens, and the endless complaints from guests. I tried to answer calmly, explaining I no longer lift a finger in the rooms, that my job is about leadership now. But James, my brother, interrupted in that reassuring tone of his. "Natalie's a hard worker," he said, almost apologetically. "She'll probably sell the business once she settles down and starts a family." That's when I felt it, like a punch in the stomach. The word sell hanging in the air, a cold verdict on all I'd built. James, once the man who knew me better than anyone, seemed so far away from that brother I loved. Despite the gap growing between us, I still loved him fiercely. I told myself it was a passing phase, that he was trying to fit into Melissa's world. But inside, a quiet ache grew. Then, one autumn evening, with leaves rustling outside and the city's glow dimming, James called. His voice was alive with excitement. "Yes, Nat," he said. "Melissa said yes to marry me." That moment should have felt pure joy, but beneath it, a flicker of doubt. I wanted to celebrate, to believe he still knew who I was. I asked, "How did you propose?" my voice hopeful. James launched into the details of that summer night in the Hamptons at the Blake family's lakeside estate, an elaborate story of love and promise. And yet, even in the thrill of celebration, I wondered, how much of ourselves are we willing to lose for the sake of family, success, or just fitting in? The sun was just beginning to dip below the horizon, casting a warm amber glow over the shoreline. A gentle breeze carried the scent of salt and blooming roses from the cottage garden nearby. I remember standing barefoot in the cool sand, clutching my mother's hand as everything around me seemed suspended in time. Somewhere in the distance, a string quartet played a melody that felt both intimate and distant, blending with the soft crush of rose petals underfoot. I looked around, family exchanging glances, faces shadowed with unspoken worries, hearts full of hopes. My mother's reassuring smile kept me grounded, yet beneath it, I felt the weight of 100 conflicting dreams pressing down. That day, I saw the cracks beneath the surface of us all, ambitions, fears, the unyielding pull between who we are and who we want to be. Years later, here I am, still chasing that sense of belonging, struggling to balance my own ambitions with the bonds that ground me, the fight to succeed, to prove worth, amidst the chaos of family scars. What really holds us together? Is it love, or the fragile hope that maybe, just maybe, we can be enough, without losing ourselves in the process? Life keeps throwing these moments, sharp and clear, like that breeze on the beach, and somehow we keep going, still hoping to find peace in the storm. The evening air feels heavy, thick with unspoken words. Outside, rain whispers against the window, scent of wet earth seeping in. Natalie Warren stands rigid, clutching a crumpled letter she just discovered, hidden in the back of an old drawer, layered with dust and memories. Her eyes trace the faded ink, heart pounding as she reads. It's from her estranged sibling, silent all these years. "You've always believed I didn't care," she whispers to herself, "but I've been supporting you all along." The words hit her like a thunderclap. No fanfare, no sound, just the quiet, unspoken love buried beneath silence and misunderstanding. She'd thought she fought alone, that her sacrifices went unnoticed. Now, everything shifts. This letter? It's her unexpected lifeline, proof of a bond she thought was severed. In that moment, the perception of her struggles, her sacrifices, flickers anew. Sometimes, the biggest support comes from the least expected place, an act of love hidden beneath years of silence, and as the rain taps softly on the glass, she understands. She's never truly alone. The true strength was always in the quiet, unseen ties that hold us together. I thought being part of this was a no-brainer. With my investment, my stake in the venue, I deserved to be in the loop, but I was wrong. Melissa made plans, tastings, meetings, without even telling me. She'd set them up with my catering team, leaving me out like I wasn't part of the picture. Victoria emails about changes to the ballroom's design, but I don't get the memo. When I ask James, he looks uncomfortable, like I've crossed some line. He says, "Melissa just wants everything perfect. You're too involved. It's a conflict of interest." I swallow the ache, trying to respect their process. But then the demands start piling up. Unreasonable requests that push me to the edge. Removing the historic chandelier because it clashes, creating 15 menus before choosing, appointments scheduled at odd hours, canceled last minute. Through it all, I stay professional. My team's tired, strained, I see it. Yet I push through, determined to make this work. The deposit's done, the paperwork signed, this wedding is happening, regardless of the chaos. But as the date nears, I wonder, will I ever really be part of it all? A quiet summer evening floods into her mind. The scent of blooming jasmine lingering in the air, children's laughter echoing softly from the yard. She can almost feel the gentle weight of her father's steady hand on her shoulder during that family barbecue. The glow of string lights cast a nostalgic glow. Her heart aches as she recalls that moment when her mother, eyes kind and soft, handed her a small, wrapped gift, whispering, "Always remember your worth." The warmth of that touch, the sound of her mother's voice, those memories cling like dew in the early dawn. Now, months later, everything feels different. Life's pushed her to her limits. Family struggles, career ambitions, the silent sacrifices she's made to keep everyone afloat. But that night, that peaceful scene, it's a reminder. Beneath the chaos, her resilience is rooted in those quiet moments of love and validation. She's never truly alone. The strength she needs has always been there, in the gentle touch, the whispered words, the flickering light of hope that still guides her forward. The room sank into a heavy silence. I sat there, eyes locked on the empty seat beside me, the faint aroma of expensive wine swirling in the air like a ghost of what should have been. My parents exchanged uneasy glances, their faces tight with unspoken worries. Melissa's eyes darted away, almost ashamed or maybe afraid. I opened my mouth, just about to ask what was happening, when a loud crash echoed from the far corner, the kind that jolts your spine and shatters the fragile calm. Everyone turned, shifting their focus, all except my pounding heart. It kept beating fast, questions swirling like storm clouds I wasn't ready to face. What secrets had I missed? Who was hiding the truth? And why was I kept in the dark, like some kind of game I didn't even know I was playing? Suddenly, everything felt weightless, like I was floating on the edge of some dark hole, waiting for the moment I'd have to finally look down. Now, I'm left clutching that moment, wondering what's really behind that silence and whether I'll ever find my way back to the trust and clarity I thought I had. In the corner of the room, I sat frozen, ears ringing with the hum of the evening, my eyes fixated on the empty chair beside me, my mind racing. The scent of wine lingered thickly in the air, blending with the faint, earthy aroma of rain outside. My parents exchanged uneasy glances, like they were holding back more than they were revealing. Melissa's eyes darted away, almost scared, almost guilty. I opened my mouth, ready to ask, to voice the growing storm inside me, when suddenly a loud crash tore through the silence. It jolted everyone, every nerve feeling alive and raw. Everyone turned, except me. I was rooted, heart pounding in my chest. Questions everywhere, unspoken, suffocating. Who or what had just broken the calm? What secrets lurk in the shadows we refuse to see? I was about to find out, because that's when I saw the figure. They stepped in, face unfamiliar, yet somehow ominous. My breath caught, because I knew, somehow, and everything was about to change. What's really waiting just beyond that shadow? That night I called James, my heart pounding like a drum solo I couldn't escape. I needed answers. "Am I invited to your wedding or not?" I asked straight up. "Because from what I'm hearing, Melissa has other plans." James sighed heavy, a sound that sank like stone in my chest. "Nat, it's complicated. He told me Melissa and her mother had very specific ideas about who's in and who's out, worried about keeping a certain vibe. That vibe? The one that doesn't include your sister, the one who's given so much, 20 times over, funds, support, love, that I thought mattered most." My voice cracked with the weight of it all. "You don't get it. The pressure are under?" He cut me off, voice defensive. "Melissa's family moves in important circles. This wedding could open doors for us." I punched back, breath hitching. "Since when do you care about circles? What happened to the brother who used to say we only needed each other?" Silence. Cold. Heavy. "People grow up," he said. "Maybe you should try it already." Daggers. His words sliced deep. "Is that Melissa? Or you?" I whispered, trembling. He dismissed me, snapped, "This isn't productive. I need to go. Melissa and I have an appointment with the florist." As I clicked off, a strange ache settled in. The brother who used to be my anchor, slipping away, replaced by a stranger wearing a mask I'd never seen before. I held on to hope that this was just a storm, that James would come back once the wedding chaos died down. Still, I couldn't let it go. I reached out with one last message, heart in every word, reminding him of our history, of what we shared, of how much I'd do, no matter what. "It's family," I wrote. "That's what we do." His reply? Brief, almost icy. "Thanks for your understanding. I'll talk to Melissa." Days blurred into silence. No more words, no more signals. What's coming next? How long before the silence breaks? Or, worse, is this just the beginning? The wedding was just a week away. One final standoff with hope, keeping me tethered. I'd already poured so much into it. Funds, tears, sacrifices. Yet a voice in my head whispered, "What if I don't go?" But then I get the call. The kind of call that shatters everything. It's Tuesday. I'm in a meeting, juggling numbers when my phone buzzes. An unfamiliar number. Against my instinct to ignore, I answer. A sharp voice, Victoria Hayes, the wedding planner, clarifies she's calling about the $65,000 deposit. Heart pounding, I mumble, "Is there an issue?" Then she drops it. Cold. Clinically. "Your invitation's been canceled." My face goes numb. The room spins. I lean on the wall, desperate to understand. "Who made this call?" I whisper. She hesitates. "Miss Blake and her mother. They've decided. Your attendance is no longer wanted. But," a pause, a cruel twist, "they'll keep the deposit." My mind races. James, my own brother, approved this. The one who used to share his lunch, who told me I was enough? The same James who once whispered promises of family? Now he's silent, silent as the rain outside, while I hold the phone that just confirmed I've been erased. I breathe in that rain-scented air. Feelings tangled. Confusion, anger, heartbreak. The line goes dead. And I wonder, is this the end? Or just the beginning? The scent of lavender and warm sunlight filters through the cracked open window of my childhood home. I grip my brother's hand tightly, feeling the roughness of his palm, anchoring me amid the ache. We stand silent by Grandma's casket, the murmurs of distant voices blending with the crackle of old jazz records playing faintly in the background. His promise to always be there echoes in my mind, a steady lifeline amidst chaos. For that moment, the world feels frozen, pure, unbreakable, as if his vow still keeps us bonded. But life doesn't stay still for long. A cold wave ripples through me, because despite the calm, I know this isn't the end. It never is. How do we hold on to hope when everything's falling apart? When the people closest to us turn into strangers? The scent of rain presses against the window, an invisible reminder that even storms have to pass. I wonder, sometimes, if the strength we need is just to keep standing, even when the world keeps threatening to break us. There's a quiet, aching question hanging in the air. What's next? How long before the silence is broken? Or worse, how long before it's the new normal? As I breathe in that familiar, comforting scent, I realize this isn't just a story of loss. It's about resilience, about fighting to find your voice when everything's trying to drown it out. That's what defines us after all. Not the heartbreak, but the courage to keep going anyway. Natalie stands by the window, city lights flickering like distant stars, each one a little beacon of hope, or maybe just a flicker of chaos. The cold wind slips through the crack, bringing a whisper of change that raises the hairs on her arms. Her phone trembles in her hand, heavy with unspoken truths she hasn't dared voice. Her eyes drift to the family photo on the wall. Chaos and love. Frozen moments etched in time. Just as she sees herself speaking, her voice cracking with the weight of everything she's holding back, a distant siren wails through the night. Sharp and sudden, as if announcing a new storm. The noise echoes her unease, a reminder that change isn't always gentle. What does this sound mean? Does it signal an ending, or the start of something unimaginable? That silence, thick and pregnant with anticipation, feels like a pulse. Waiting. The city's pulse. Her own heartbeat. And ahead. Who knows what's coming next? It's a moment caught in the cusp of uncertainty. One breath, one decision, one sound could shift everything. A step closer to hope or further into the unknown. Natalie's heart hammering, her mind racing. She feels every throb of that pounding storm inside. She's been the steady anchor, the glue holding her family together. But today's different. Her brother's wedding is supposed to be a celebration. Yet here she is, uninvited and feeling crushed. She's fought so hard to keep her dignity, to keep her boundaries, while her own worth got buried under years of sacrifice, beneath smiles that masked her pain. Just as she braces herself to confront him, there, near the mirror, she catches a flicker of something on her wrist. A worn, familiar bracelet. It's battered but resilient, like her. A relic from childhood, a whisper of unconditional love, of hope she once held close. Her eyes fill with tears. Yes, but they're not tears of defeat. They're of awakening. Because suddenly, she sees herself clearly. Her strength isn't in making everyone happy. It's in standing tall, in finally understanding her value isn't dictated by others' approval. That bracelet reminds her, self-worth isn't a sacrifice. It's a gift she's been giving herself all along. And in that glance in the mirror, the world shifts. She's no longer just fighting to be part of their story. She's reclaiming her own, powerful, unbreakable, and free. Natalie's fingers trembled as she stared at the unopened letter, her mind racing faster than her heartbeat. Warm tears threatened to spill over, but she blinked them back, clutching the edges of the worn kitchen table. Outside, rain began to tap softly against the window, mingling with the distant wail of sirens, reminders that life keeps moving, no matter how hard you try to stand still. The weight of that envelope felt like it carried the entire world, a secret so heavy it could shake her to her core. Her stomach clenched with anticipation, a strange mix of hope and dread swirling together. It might be good news, she told herself, or it could ruin everything she's fought to hold on to. Every nerve in her body urged her to open it, but her hand hesitated, as if afraid to face what's inside. What if this letter could finally shatter her illusions, or set her free? The silence stretched between her and the unknown, thick with questions no one can answering yet. Her breath hitched. What's hidden in those pages that could turn her entire life upside down? Natalie Warren's eyes flicked over the cluttered dining table, where her phone blinked with a new message. Her heart tightened, the kind of squeeze that clings around your chest when she scrolls and reads the words she'd been dreading. A threat, wrapped in a promise of chaos. Shadows creeping into her life like a storm barely kept at bay. Outside, the wind whispered through the open window, leaf rustling, rain scent thick in the air, as if the universe was conspiring to drown her in secrets. Her breathing hitched. Was this the breaking point she'd feared? Or just another twist in her quest to find balance? Her fists clenched, silent tears blurred her vision, yet she refused to look away. One wrong move, they say, and it all could shatter. But what's her next step, knowing the line she's about to cross might cost everything? Her mind raced. What choice would carve its way through this chaos? Would she fall or rise? The clock ticked loud in the quiet. One decision, the future, hanging on her next move. And then, her eyes locked on the phone, a ripple of dread and determination swirling inside her. Who would she be after this? The evening air hangs heavy as Natalie Warren stands alone in her crowded kitchen. A faint hum from the washing machine drifts through the stillness, blending with the scent of vanilla from a fresh cake she baked hours ago. She gently traces her finger along the cracks in a faded family photo. Her father's warm smile frozen in time, his voice echoing quietly. "Keep fighting, kiddo." Her eyes shimmer with tears threatening to spill, yet she stays rooted, feeling the weight of love and expectation collide within her. In this quiet moment, bathed in memories, she's reminded of the resilience that's carried her through the toughest storms. That resilience isn't just about enduring, it's about holding on, even when the world feels like it's crumbling around her. She's faced heartbreak, family drama, economic hardship, and still she pushes forward. A pause, a breath, and her mind drifts to what's next. A decision, a breakthrough. Will she fall, or will she rise? Beneath her calm surface, a storm brews. The stakes have never been higher, and somehow she knows. This moment will define her. The future hangs on her next move, and she's ready to face whatever comes, with love in her heart and strength in her soul. Outside, rain begins to tap softly against the window, the scent of wet earth rising in the cool air, a reminder that even in chaos, growth persists. Her fingers tighten around the photo. She whispers to herself, "Keep fighting. Always." Because deep down she knows. Her story isn't over yet. The room seemed to freeze, heavy with unspoken truths. I looked at James, fragile yet fiercely determined, and wondered, how did we get here? The scent of rain outside seeped through the window, blending with that stale tension in the air. For a moment, I felt that old ache, like when I was a kid, crouched in my backyard, clutching an old photo, hearing my mother's gentle voice. "You can do anything," she said. That voice echoed now, reminding me resilience isn't just surviving chaos. It's holding on to love, even when everything else frays. James's eyes finally met mine. "I want you there, Nat. I always did." That quiet admission shattered the silence, a small but mighty victory. Melissa's glare burned like steel. "After this stunt, you still want her here?" The words trembled, but her anger was clear. Still, I saw beyond that, past the hurt. Family, like roots in the earth, twisted, complex, but always there. It's funny how under the harshest storms, the strongest bonds stay rooted. In that moment, I realized something crucial. It's not about perfection. It's about holding on to the people who matter, by whatever means necessary. Life throws curveballs, yeah, but resilience is carving your way through, unrelenting. Every scar, every hardship, just chapters in the story we refuse to let end in silence. And as I looked at James, I knew this was one of those turning points. Somehow, amidst the chaos, hope still flickers, quiet, steadfast, waiting for us to reach out. The old quilt in her hands feels like more than fabric. It's a lifeline. Natalie Warren's fingertips trace its familiar patterns, each stitch whispering stories of Sunday mornings long gone. The scent of lavender and rosemary drifts from her mother's cooking, pulling her back, bright laughter echoing off the kitchen walls, her father calling her outside to toss a football as the porch squeaked beneath her shoes. She remembers the warmth, the simple joy of those moments, safety, belonging, a future that felt unbreakable. Now, amid chaos, family tension, career pressures, emotional fallout, her grip tightens around that memory. It's a silent reminder. Roots run deep. Even when storms come, they can't topple legacy, love, or resilience. She breathes in, feeling that pulse of strength. Her whole life may be frayed at the edges, but she refuses to let it unravel. Because deep down, she knows. This fight, this pain, it's part of her story of standing tall, reclaiming her worth. And somehow, that's enough. Natalie Warren stands in her dimly lit living room, the rain tapping softly against the window, like nature's own heartbeat echoing her internal storm. Shadows dance on peeling family photos, flickering in the candle's fragile glow. Her face shows wear, but her eyes, sharp with resolve, tell a different story. Her phone vibrates ominously, the screen flashing an unfamiliar number. Her fingers tremble, caught somewhere between chasing her dreams and holding her family together. Does this call promise clarity or chaos? Just as she begins to reach out, there's a loud knock at the door. Pause. Who's waiting outside? What do they want? And in this moment of quiet turmoil, can she find the strength to face whatever's on the other side? The storm rages on. Her breath catches. The clock ticks louder. Her heart races, waiting, wondering. Would this be the turning point she's been fighting for? Or the moment that finally breaks her? The evening had started with smiles, but beneath the polished surface, something was shifting. James stepped forward, his eyes flicking to Melissa, then back to me with a quiet sincerity that caught me off guard. His lips pressed into a faint smile before he softly said, "You look beautiful tonight, Nat." The city lights shimmered in the distance, the buzz of the night wrapping around us. A cool breeze carried the scent of rain, faint but promising, like secrets waiting to be uncovered. I nodded, feeling the weight of unspoken truths hanging in the air. "Thank you. It's a lovely evening." Then a flicker of memory. Us, sitting on Mom's fire escape, dreaming big. He wanted skyscrapers. I dreamed of a garden with a cozy B&B. Back then, I'd believed those dreams would collide. Now, life's overlooked both, taking us down unexpected paths. James finally spoke, voice trembling a little. "You remember what I said about being true to myself?" I waited, heart pounding. "I'm not sure I am. Everything with Melissa, it all happened so fast." "What's next? Is this moment just a pause before the storm breaks? Or a new beginning unfolding in silence?" The night keeps whispering secrets, but her heart's racing, waiting. She stands at the edge of her life, looking out over a city that never stops moving. Her heels click softly on the pavement as she breathes in the scent of rain-soaked streets, fresh, earthy, like the promise of something new. That evening, she had all the appearances of perfection. Beautiful, poised, tightly connected to her world. She was in her element, dating the right people, feeling like she belonged. It was like being sworn into some exclusive club she'd only read about in dreams. And in that moment, I gently prompted her, "Are you really happy?" Her sigh was heavy, worn down by years of silent battles. Now, I find myself on a quiet terrace, with my sister close beside me, hiding from the chaos of what should have been a celebration, my own rehearsal dinner. My heart feels heavy, aching for him, knowing this is his decision, knowing he's torn. Cold feet? Maybe. But this feels like more. She and her mother, they've always been a team. Quick to judge, quick to dismiss. Watching her order the servers around like she owns the room, hearing her talk about my friends from the construction crew as if they're invisible. Those moments hit harder than any rejection, sharper than any heartbreak. He whispers, "She's not the one." I see the doubt flickering in his eyes, the same doubt I've seen before. The wedding's in 2 days. Everything's paid for, planned to perfection. Guests from across the country are already flying in, the big day marked in gold on every calendar. Is canceling now a disaster, or the gateway to salvation? Before I can answer, her voice slices through the night. "There you are?" Like a knife. James straightens, slipping back into the mask of composure. "Just getting some air with Natalie," he says, but his eyes tell a different story. That look, part apology, part goodbye, rips through me. "Don't be too long," she says, her gaze narrowing, already sizing us up. "The Harringtons are leaving soon. They came all the way from London." The weight of it all presses down. This isn't just about a wedding anymore. This is about who they are, what they stand for, and what I might lose if I stay silent. When she's gone, James turns, voice barely a whisper. "I should go." I reach out, my hand brushing his arm. "Of course." My voice catches. "But whatever you decide, I'll support you. That's what family does." The day unfolds in sun and shadows. Perfect June weather, but beneath the glamour, something's broken. The grand hall at the Sapphire is alive with white roses and orchids, but the tension inside is thicker than the floral arrangements. It's a dance, one foot in hope, the other in fear. The question lingers. Will he take a step forward, or walk away from everything he's ever known? And I wonder, what really defines us? The choices we make or the ones we're forced to face? Because sometimes love isn't about tying the knot. It's about finding the strength to untie what's fraying apart. Lavender lingers in the air, faint and familiar, carrying the soft hum of late-night family talks. Her mother's worn perfume, a ghost of yesteryears, whispers secrets of sacrifices made in silence. Inside, Natalie Warren's small hands tremble as she watches her father, tired but determined, pack his battered suitcase under dim kitchen light. The world outside is loud, city horns, rain scent, leaf rustle, but inside, a heavy silence settles, thick as the warmth of that childhood blanket she still keeps close. Her tiny fingers clutch her favorite stuffed animal, feeling every ache of unspoken words, every promise fracture swirl within her. The pain of love lost and hope deferred mixes, pressing on her chest. Did he know that moment, the finality of leaving, would echo through her life forever? That the wound of seeing someone she loved walk away, carrying dreams she couldn't reach, would shape every step she takes? That little girl, cocooned in a sea of emotion, wondered. How do you hold on when everything's slipping away? How do you rebuild when the pieces seem shattered? Years later, those memories still stir. The scent, the quiet tears, the unspoken regrets. Because no matter how far she's come, the weight of those moments stays, alive in the storm of her ambitions and the love she fights to hold on to. And deep down, she asks herself, is success worth losing everything that truly matters? Or is the real victory found in knowing she's still fighting, still standing, despite it all? The announcement hit like a punch to the gut. This wedding is canceled. No drama, no grand finale, just those words hanging in the air, heavy and unforgiving. I watched the chaos unfold. Melissa collapsing into her mom's arms, wailing like her world was ending. Eleanor was furious, shouting about lawsuits and shattered reputations. Meanwhile, Howard Blake? Calm, steady, focused on managing his wife and daughter rather than throwing punches. James, my brother, made a beeline for me, took my hand, and we slipped away from the storm, out of the ballroom into the quiet of my community center. That's when he finally cracked. "I can't believe I just did that," he said, voice thick. "Did you see their faces?" I nodded, handing him a glass of water. He looked at me, then suddenly lighter. "It's gonna cost me. Money, reputation. But I had to. I thought about Melissa and her mom, how they treated me, how they'd just take without giving back. Marrying her? Endorsing all that? I couldn't do it. "What now?" I asked, voice soft. He shrugged, a small smile breaking through. "Go back to my apartment. Return to work. Start over. Yeah, it'll be embarrassing. But I want to live honestly." Proud? Yeah, I was. That took guts. Real guts. He leaned in, voice warm. "Learned it from my little sister." Days passed. The fallout was fierce. The Blakes went after their share for the wedding expenses. Rumors started swirling in the fancy circles Melissa's side ran. Sleazy gossip, whispers of scandal. But through it all, James kept his face steady. His real friends? They stayed. And me? I had my brother back. That moment, that clarity, that's what mattered most. Because sometimes walking away is the bravest thing you can do. It's not about the perfect day, the perfect life. It's about knowing you're holding on to what's real. And I guess, in the end, that's everything. It started in the quiet of the attic, amongst dust and forgotten memories. Natalie Warren's fingers brushed over a stack of aging photos, smiles frozen in time, moments she'd long cherished. As she sifted through them, a crumpled, faded letter slipped free from the fragile paper. Its ink was almost illegible, but her eyes sharpened. Curiosity piqued. She unfolded it carefully, heart pounding. The words revealed a secret she never saw coming, an emotional confession from a sibling she'd never known existed. The scent of old paper, musty with a hint of rain, triggered a flood of memories. The picture of her family, once so clear, now blurred with shadows of hidden truths. She paused, breath hitching. What if her sacrifices, her struggles, had been only part of a much larger, tangled story? Could she reconcile the family she knew with this buried past? The truth was more complicated than she imagined, and suddenly, everything and nothing made sense. Her view of herself, her worth, her sacrifices, all shifted, reshaping what she believed about her roots. Maybe some secrets aren't just buried. They're waiting for the right moment to surface, forever changing the story we thought we knew. 6 months after the wedding that never was, I found myself buried in the daily grind at the Sapphire Grand. The hotel's doing great. Big bookings, a waiting list for top-tier events that stretches into next year. Things looked solid on the surface, but my mind kept drifting. The quiet knock at the door caught me off guard. Anthony, my hotel manager, stood there with that weird look on his face. "Melissa Blake's in the lobby," he said softly. "She wants to see you." My brow furrowed. Melissa? Why now? I turned away, setting my pen down. "Did she say what this is about?" I asked. Anthony hesitated. "Not exactly, but she seems different. Less proud, less demanding, if you get what I mean." Curiosity, maybe a little gut instinct, made me nod. "Send her up." When Melissa stepped into my community center, it was like seeing a stranger. Gone was the poised, designer-clad girl I knew. In her place, jeans, a simple sweater, her hair in a loose ponytail, her face, less confident, more vulnerable. "Thank you for seeing me," she said, voice softer than before. I gestured to the chair. "What can I do for you?" She hesitated a beat. I came to apologize. Not just some lawyer-crafted excuse. Honestly, the way I behaved, trying to keep you out of the wedding, taking your money, it was cruel. I was so caught up in making everything perfect for the wedding that I lost sight of what really matters. My curiosity was growing. "What made you decide to finally speak up?" She sighed deeply. "After James left me at the altar, everything fell apart. I was humiliated, angry, blamed everyone but myself. I started dating Curtis, this hedge fund guy, thinking I could just throw everything away and start fresh. My mom, she told me I could just replace James, that I could erase what went wrong." I nodded slowly, understanding the weight behind her words. Sometimes people reach a point where honesty becomes the only way forward. And for me, that moment changed everything, reminding me that beneath all the veneer of success, truth is what truly matters. The rain had just stopped, leaving behind that fresh, earthy scent that clings to everything. The evening air was cool, a soft leaf rustle whispering secrets outside the window. Natalie Warren sat across from her sister, dinner forgotten, just the two of them in this rare, quiet moment. She'd poured her heart out more times than she could count, but this time felt different. As she finally opened up about balancing her career ambitions and the unspoken weight of family expectations, her voice trembled, but her eyes held a flicker of resolve. Suddenly, her sister's gaze shifted, catching something hidden in the glow of the candlelight. Between the dishes, a small, slightly crumpled photo peeked out. She reached, hesitant, and pulled it free. It was her, but not her. Instead of the confident, ambitious woman she'd been chasing, this face looked softer, more vulnerable. A different name, a different life story, one she'd buried beneath her relentless pursuit of success. A gasp escaped her lips as reality hit her hard. The mirror she'd been running from wasn't her true reflection. It was a mirage. All those years of trying to prove herself, measured by family's expectations, by others' judgments, faded in that one, painful moment. Tears welled up, but something bigger took hold. She realized how much she'd been chasing a version of herself molded by others. The fight to reclaim her identity had just begun. Was she ready to accept the real Natalie Warren, the woman behind the mask, and finally step into her own truth? Natalie Warren stands at her doorway, clutching a crumpled letter. Her face is frozen. Shock, confusion, pain, all mixing into a single expression. The evening wind whispers past, cold and steady. Her fingertips tremble as she presses her palm against the doorframe, eyes darting to the family photo on the wall. Her breath catches. Should she confront her past, or walk away and leave it all behind forever? A tear slips unnoticed down her cheek. The weight of unspoken questions presses in. What's next, now that she's uncovered the truth about her story? Will she finally find the courage to stay and face it? Or will she break free, even if it means risking everything she's fought for? The scent of rain lingers faintly, mingling with the rustle of leaves outside as her mind races. Every memory, every secret brought into the light. How will they shape her future? The silence is deafening. What choice will she make? Will she stay or finally walk away? Late evening. Natalie Warren sits alone at her kitchen table. The dim, amber glow from the hanging light above paints soft shadows across her face. Outside, the rain whispers against the window, scenting the air with moss and leaf rustle. Her fingers rest on the wood, trembling just slightly. She breathes in, trying to steady herself. And then, a memory flickers, bright and clear. She's at a holiday dinner. The scent of baked ham and roasted vegetables fills the room. Her voice rises, sharp as she confronts her mother. Dishes clatter, but her words cut through the noise. Her mother's face is firm, but her eyes soften, reassuring. That comfort clashes with the ache of endless disappointment, a tangled web of warmth and pain. The silence afterward was thick, heavy with unspoken words. Now, she wonders, does that tension still define her? Can she find her way back from years of trying to be someone she's not? The past hangs, heavy and unforgotten. Her heart races, yet beneath it all, a flicker of resolve ignites. How much of her life has been shaped by expectations? How much of her own worth has she truly claimed? Her breath catches. She looks at a family photo on the wall, hopeful smiles, a life she fought to build. But at what cost? She's brave enough now, steady enough to face that question. The night is quiet, only broken by the rain's gentle tap and her own pounding heart. What will she do next? The choice feels monumental. Stay, or finally step away. The scene pauses. A moment to decide. The rain's scent fades into stillness. The truth is out now, her story, her voice, ready to shape her future. And she's ready. There's a faint scent of lavender lingering in my mind, like a whisper from days long gone, soft summer breezes slipping through the cracked window of my grandma's garden. I can still see her, hands gentle but strong, tending those plants with a patience I never understood until now. I remember sitting quietly beside her, listening to stories about resilience, about love woven into every scar and smile. That old family locket, cool against my fingertips, carries that memory. Hope tangled with doubt. I can feel her eyes, warm and reassuring, as if her gentle touch says, "You've got this," even when everything feels like it's falling apart. The scent of rain outside now, mixture of moss and earth, heralds a storm. But her words linger, grounding me. I wonder how much of me is my own, how much is shaped by the past. At that moment, I realize her strength lives within me. Even now, I hear her quiet whisper threading through my worries. Stay resilient. Keep fighting. Because in the end, it's not just about getting through the storm, it's about what you become inside it. Tonight, I sit at my kitchen table, the soft glow casting shadows across my face. Outside, rain taps a steady beat, and I breathe it in. Fresh, rain-scented hope. I ask myself, what's really at stake? Family, ambition, the desire to prove I'm enough. Do I stay in the chaos, or do I step out into the unknown? My mind drifts back to that family photo on the wall, all those smiles I fought so hard to hold on to, even as cracks showed beneath. How much of that is real, and how much was survival? Every choice, every sacrifice, all led here. The weight of it presses down, yet I feel a flicker of strength igniting inside. Because maybe, just maybe, I can choose differently now. The past weighs heavy, but I'm tired of pretending it doesn't. And as the rain begins to slow, I sense the quiet before the storm clears. There's a pause, just enough time to remember that even in the darkest moments, hope still flickers. The scent fades into silence. The truth is ready to be spoken, the story finally mine. And I'll face whatever comes next, whether I stay in this familiar turmoil or step into the unknown, into a future I shape with my own hands, because I already have everything I need. And that's a kind of victory, the kind nobody can take away. She stands alone in her family home, sunlight spilling unevenly through the window. The air is thick, part hope, part heartbreak, yet she breathes deep, shoulders tense yet determined. Her voice trembles with emotion, but her resolve is steady. Tears press behind her eyes, threatening to spill, yet she pushes them back. Instead, a quiet smile emerges, a vow to herself. She's choosing her worth, bridging the space between her dreams and her roots. A soft embrace wraps around her, renewed, resilient, signaling healing and strength. The chaos of family, the weight of past sacrifices, all swirl around her, but she stands firm, because in that moment she realizes her future isn't defined by what's lost. It's created by her will to move forward, to heal, to rise. And no matter what storms come next, she's ready, because she already holds everything she needs inside.